Today I'm going to talk about something that I haven't talked about on this channel before, but I was inspired to do this video from Abby over at Rooted in Rest. I love watching her channel. She's one of my favorite YouTube mamas to follow, and I got this idea from her, and I decided, you know what, this year I'm going to have goals, and I'm going to have year goals for the homeschool year, and then I'm going to have monthly goals, like that kind of break this down a little bit. So the goals I'm going to share with you today are the kind of overarching school year goals for our family, and I have goals in 4 different categories, and I have them written down here so I don't ramble on too much. I have mom goals, which are just personal growth goals for me. I have some family and home goals that are kind of more broad to all of us. I have some specific kid goals that I'm calling kid habits that I have as a goal for this year. And then I have some school goals that are just kind of specifically related to our time spent in homeschool. I'm going to tackle those 4 areas today for the school year, and then, Lord willing, have month-to-month goals after that. The first area of goals I want to share with you are the family goals and our home goals. So these are the things that relate to caring for our home and just growing and rearing our little family here. The first goal I have for this school year for our family is to actively serve not only in our local church but our community at least once a month in a way that's kind of different and specific. So what I mean by that is, right now we serve in our local church in the area of like weekly ministries. My husband does sound ministry, and he's actually on staff at our church. And before COVID, I was in the nurse ministry, which that's a little different right now. And we had the nursery ministry and just different things that we did as we just kind of went about our weekly routine serving in the church. But I'm actually going to encourage my kids and my husband to actually look beyond that and look for one thing each month we can do for someone in the church family or our church kind of as a whole, maybe administratively or financially, some way that we can serve in addition, like that's kind of like a special thing that we can do together. And the reason I've chosen that as a goal is because we are in a very unique time in the local church right now. We're spread apart. A lot of us are coming back together, but there's still a good chunk that's still watching at home or just dispersed for any number of reasons through this whole pandemic thing. And I really want to impress upon my children the idea of unity and family in the local church, and so I really want to make the idea of service a big deal to our family this year. But beyond just our local church, I want to look for something once a month we can do in our community as well, because there are lots of frustrated, confused, and hurting people right now, and I think some love and kindness from others in the community would be a very good thing. And I think that it would teach my kids that we can be the helpers. When all of this is going on, we can be the helpers, and we can share our joy with others and seek to bring joy to them as well. So that is one goal I have for this school year for our family. The second goal I have is the idea of a home blessing. This is a new idea to me. I just recently discovered the Fly Lady cleaning method or system or whatever it's called, and I've started brainstorming some ways that I could implement that in my home. And you can watch for future collabs with other YouTubers about this, because there are some mamas who really have this down pat. And it's a goal I have to implement a home blessing, which is a special kind of cleaning routine. If you're not familiar with the Fly Lady, I want to implement that this year with my kids and my husband involved. So that's a goal I have, and there'll be more about that in my monthly goals that I share down the road as to what that's going to look like. But that is a goal. And I also have a goal. My third family goal is to implement some new recipes in our meal plan rotation, because we are struggling at mealtime. We are having trouble with the kids being thankful for their food, because it's the same things we eat all the time because they eat so few things. So I really want to have some new recipes to add in this year. The next goal category is kid habits. So for this school year, I have 3 goals, 3 habits, or 3 areas of habit training that I want to focus on with my kids. Number 1, I really want to teach them to read or listen to all the directions before starting something. This comes up in just about all areas of life, not just school. I know that you might think because I said directions, you might think it has to do with school, but this really is all areas of life. You know, my dog was fed, I think 3 times the other day because I asked a child to put the dog out multiple times, and instead of putting the dog out all of those times, they fed the dog. So the dog ate a lot that day. But that's just because they weren't actually listening and make sure that they heard what I said. So for those of you that follow the Charlotte Mason method, we are working on the habit of attention for sure this year, but just the overall goal to read and hear directions fully before they begin a task. That's a goal for this year. Number 2, the goal of recognizing when we're complaining and do something about it. So my kids don't always seem to understand what complaining is or when they're complaining, and so they seem a little surprised when I correct their bad attitudes on something. So we're going to work on recognizing a complaint, recognizing ungratefulness, and then being able to do something about it. And the third goal has to do with the second goal, and that's just taking blessing breaks throughout our day, even when we're not in school mode over the summer or Christmas break, weekends. Just taking blessing breaks, I think, will help beat that complaining spirit in them, having them stop and list some things that were good about the day, things that the Lord granted or allowed to work out, things we're thankful for, something. Just kind of taking those moments to pause and have everyone regroup under the protective umbrella of thankfulness. You know, it protects us from a lot of things, and we're going to be more intentional this year, God willing, to take those blessing breaks and combat a complaining attitude. Okay, our third set of goals has to do with school time. The first kind of overall goal I have for school is I want us to put into practice kind of what I've shared with you about learning when to stop for the day. Learning when to just say, no more learning is happening right now, or teaching my kids to verbalize, Mom, I can't focus right now. Can we do something, or can you help? Helping my kids be able to verbalize when things aren't working. And I need to be able to say we're done for the day. I've preached that to you all. I've done it sometimes, but not consistently. And this year my goal is to be a little more consistent at knowing when to stop for the day and just move on. My second goal for the homeschool year, that's kind of, again, just a very broad academic goal, is to finish 80% of our curriculum that I've purchased. Again, this is, provided that I don't need to switch curriculum in the middle of the year or something like that. I don't anticipate that happening, but my goal, academic-wise, is to finish 80% of our curricula. We typically do more than that. We typically do about 90 to 95% of our books, but my goal is to finish 80% this year. Why did I change, or why did I set my goal there? When we normally finish 90 to 95, why did I make my goal 80? Well, because this year we kind of stepped it up a notch with the academic content and rigor of some of our courses that we picked, especially for my son. So I'm kind of allowing myself that grace, knowing that the material is a little more challenging for him, to just say let's aim for 80%, and then if we get to the 90 to 95 or 100%, then we've met and exceeded that goal. And the third and final goal I have for our school year this year is to come up with creative replacements to all the canceled things. It would be incredibly easy for me to just kind of say, oh well, it's canceled, and just stay at home. I don't want to rob them of experiences that I want them to have. So my goal is to find creative replacements for all the things that they no longer can do because of this pandemic situation that we're in now. And the final set of goals I will share with you really play off of a lot of the things I've already shared. These are going to be my mom goals. We chose a character training book, our character traits book, that we're going to be going through with the kids. And my goal for this year is that I would model those, that I would really be purposeful, intentional about allowing my kids to see day to day what those traits look like. And I'm going to obviously need a lot of help from the Lord to do that. So that brings me to my second goal, which is to be more prayer focused about teaching moments in our home. I pray for things like my children's salvation and their safety and their health and things like that. But I want to be better this school year at praying for learning the main thing in our school day, of not losing track of that, and of actually relying on those prayers throughout my day to sustain me and to give me the strength and the wisdom to actually, do all of the things that I need to do. But I pray about things, and then I still catch myself often trying to do things in my own strength around here, and it's a big flop. So my goal, one of my mom goals this year, is to actually rely on the Lord, not just as a catchphrase, not just as something I pray in one of my prayers, but to actually do it. And then number 3, something that I've caught myself doing recently, I want to listen all the way to my kids when they have to tell me something, especially when something wrong was done, or I think something wrong was done. I need to listen all the way. I need to get all of the facts. I need to really see the situation and know what's going on before I, come up with a conclusion and a possible consequence or punishment. I need to listen all the way. So that is a goal I have for myself this school year, and I think that my goals, the things that I have for myself, are necessary for a lot of these other goals to be met. So you can pray for me. I'd certainly appreciate it, but I need to devote all of these goals to prayer and actually rely on those prayers. So those are the things that I am shooting for this year. Those are the goals that the Lord laid on my heart. Thank you so much for joining me here on this video. If you made it to the end, I love hearing from you, so please do go ahead and leave some comments. Go ahead and like if you like hearing about what my goals are and you want me to continue this throughout our school year. And I will catch you in the next video.